had 2 preseason games, and we have a lot to talk about regarding these games. We have risers and we have fallers, players that did better than expected, showed their improvements, made a case for them to make a team and or to beat out other players in positions. And we got players that, when the lights came on, they didn't do so well. They're not looking too good, and maybe you think they're a starter and they're falling in the backup role. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 risers and 3 fallers. There's plenty of other players that should be on this list. This is just my list. So let me know in the comment section players who you think are rising and or falling. But before we get into today's video, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Dropping content every single day on this channel and trying to get it to that next level. With that said, folks, let's get into it. Let's start with the risers list. A riser for me is Jeffrey Okudah, and I am happy as can be to put him on this list. Look, he's not blowing up camp. He's not doing everything perfect, but he's on the field, and he's playing better than Will Harris that I've seen in 2 preseason games so far. He is the guy that's doing it. Preseason 1, Will Harris gets injured, and in the second preseason game, Will Harris, he didn't look so good. Jeffrey Okudah, though, gets on the field. He's made some mistakes, but he's improving, and he's looking better. So with the battle taking on between him and Will Harris, he is coming up as better. He's coming up as performing well when the lights are on. That is good because the investment we have. We really don't want to have a former safety, a guy who's not drafted big. We're talking 3rd round of Will Harris, beat out a guy who's drafted 3rd overall. So we're seeing him rise a little bit on this thing. And that's good to see. Folks, do you think that Jeffrey Okudah is rising? Let me know in the comment section why for yes and for no, regardless of how you personally feel about him, because he is a controversial player for this team, where he is drafted. But let me know what you think. A massive winner on my list and riser. And we seen the rise last year by, especially midway through the season and going to finishing the year is Austin Bryant. This guy has been absolutely phenomenal in preseason as well. He should have had 2 sacks on the Colts. I give it 2, even though it's officially not 2. It was officially 1. Should have been 2. Austin Bryant has been disrupting the quarterback. Seems like every single play that he's out there on preseason. He's looking like a guy who could be in the mixed rotation for the starters at that edge position. He's looking really good. Young player, really starting to come into his own. Austin Bryant's been phenomenal. He's defensive player of the game against the Colts, and he just gets better each game. And if he's not getting a sack, he's getting quarterback hurries like no other. This guy has just been beating his opponents on the offensive line. He's got the size, he's got the traits, and now he's been staying healthy since last year. He's doing it on the field. He's grown every single year as he's been a player. And in preseason, he's making it known, hey, I know we got Charles Harris. I know we got Aiden Hutchinson. I know Romeo's on this team, but don't forget about me, Mr. Austin Bryant, because I'm coming to bring the pain. Austin Bryant is probably the biggest winner, in all honesty, the biggest riser on this team so far. And I freaking love it. What I also love is epic gear on LNUshop.com. So go to LNUshop.com. You can get epic shirts, great hats, great gear, repping your fandom for the Lions. Good prices, quality use of material. It's a very great site to get good gear. Tom Kennedy is a major riser. Let's just say this guy has been the best wide receiver in preseason in all football. Week 1, getting over 100 yards receiving. Everything that comes his way, he catches. Preseason 2, 2 touchdowns, beating everybody in his way. There's a foregone conclusion before the even preseason 1 that he wasn't making the roster. It'd either be Trinity Benson or it would be someone else, a Quintez Cephas, anybody but Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy says, I'm still on this team and I'm still fighting. All he's done has just been phenomenal in preseason. If he could be the biggest riser on offense so far of all the players. The guy has just been absolutely great for the Detroit Lions offense. David Blau, Tim Boyle, when they're in a pinch, they've been throwing him the football, and he's finding a way to make a play. And now it's Tom Kennedy is definitely in the mix to make the 53-man roster. He should be in the mix. I understand he's not great at everything, or, he's got one specific thing he's just a beast at, but all he does is get first downs and get touchdowns. So, for a wide receiver, what do you ask? What more do you ask for? Not a whole lot, if you ask me. Massive riser. And you can look at, there's other risers, too, that I didn't specifically name here, but you can look at a player such as, obviously, Malcolm Rodriguez, or a player such as, we can go ahead and go with Tim Boyle. He played better in preseason 2 than he did 1. There's a lot of risers. So in the comment section, put a player who is a riser that I did not do. So I just did 3 here. Let's go ahead and go with the players that are falling a little bit. Will Harris. We started the competition again in training camp as potentially the number 2 cornerback for the Detroit Lions. Week 1, preseason, he's out after the first play. Week 2, all that happened is he just got destroyed. He looked lost. The Colts were just beating the hell out of him. Missed coverage. Looked like he didn't belong at the cornerback position. It's like everything that happened in training camp kind of went away when the lights came on, and that's not good. Not good at all, because our secondary has looked bad. We almost put the whole secondary as a faller right now. Will Harris, he was not good at safety since he's been here, but last year he got switched to cornerback. He looked much better, and it's like, okay, I like what I'm seeing from Will Harris from a corner position in training camp, battling it out. But, man, when the lights came on in preseason, it kind of fell off a cliff. And that's not good if he's trying to be a starter because Okudah's playing better. He's got to perform better week 3 of the preseason as this battle rages on. But right now I'm giving the ups to Jeffrey Okudah. Matter of fact, literally faller, like I said, you can just do almost the whole secondary besides a handful of players because a lot of these guys have been hurt. Trinity Benson's a faller on my list, and it's not because of horrible play. That's actually not it at all. He's had an all right preseason. He's had a couple drops, but he has some big plays as catching. The problem for him and why I have him as a faller is because everybody else is just playing phenomenal. Maurice Alexander comes out of nowhere as a punt returner. A 65-yard kick return, 45-yard kick return. He's trying to make this roster. Tom Kennedy blowing up preseason as the best wide receiver. Every other wide receiver on the Lions is doing good in preseason. And Trinity Benson is just having an all right one. So for him to make the roster battling these other guys, it's going to be tough. Because how would you put Trinity Benson, how can you look at Trinity Benson and say he is better playing right now than Tom Kennedy? You can't really do that. And if you look at Maurice Alexander, he has something he can bring to the table as a kick returner, punt returner. The guy is phenomenal in that. Trinity Benson's just been okay in training camp and in preseason. That's it. You got to be better to make the roster. You got to outperform others to make this roster. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Other faller on my list, and this is a big fall because he's had a terrible camp. One of the worst so far that I've seen is Matt Nelson for that tackle position. Last year, he was like, okay, extra lineman there doing good in the run game. We'll see if he can be a backup tackle, but my God, he's looked awful at the tackle position. Quarterback's got to run. Tim Boyle, David Blau has to run every play. He's been almost beat on every single play. Matt Nelson has looked absolutely terrible at the tackle position. And the problem for the Lions is who's going to be the backup tackle. Skipper? Lamb? Obena Eze? Matt Nelson? Someone's got to step up, and he's not stepping up. Lions could legitimately look to another team who cuts a tackle and could bring them on as a backup role. That's how bad this position has been in training camp, and Matt Nelson has not done anything special to make his cause to be on this football team. Really has not done anything, in my eyes, to secure that spot. If I'm Brad Holmes, I'm looking elsewhere. Who here has a better upside because he's not performing well? Other fallers I could say is Jamar Jefferson. He's not doing so well. You got Jackson in there killing it. It's going to make him hard to make the job, Jamar Jefferson. Godwin Igwebuike is doing a good job. So for him, it seemed like maybe in training camp he could take that role, but it's not looking too good right now. Starting to fall a little bit. You got to perform better in preseason. Now, he's got another week of preseason. I don't think he'll be cut in the next 5. Could be. I don't think he will, but he's got to perform better to make this football team. That's not looking good. Other faller that I have on this list could be Blau a little bit. I understand a lot of people like Blau maybe over Boyle, but another game, another turnover. That's not good, and you're trying to compete for that number 2 spot. You gotta be able to hold that down and not look bad. But we'll see. We got cuts happening here soon. The roster's gonna be cut down to 80, and then in a week, going down to 53. Some of these guys got to step up in training camp. They got in preseason as well. They got to step up. They got to make some noise, or the future as a Detroit Lion could be in doubt. Hell, future in the NFL could be in the doubt. That's how serious it is. With that said, folks, adios.
Perfect.